This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week. It's Rutland Radio at breakfast time. I'm Rob Pisani. Now, there's a team of 8 who are going to be travelling the length of the River Spey, which is actually Scotland's fastest flowing river. They're doing it for a very good cause. One of them went to Stamford High and grew up in our area. That's Pip Franks, who joins me now. And you've actually not canoed at all until suddenly you find yourself doing this.
Yeah, no, that's right. So we came up with the idea for the challenge about a year ago, and through one thing or another, I sat in the canoe last weekend for the first time, so kind of throwing myself in at the deep end, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think this is achievable then? Because it's, Scotland's fastest flowing river. That can't be a very easy thing to do.
Well, I hope it's achievable. I spent some time with some really lovely people this weekend who are really, really helpful in Wansford. They don't seem to think it's unachievable. I really hope a lot of the other people in our group have canoed before, so I feel as though I'd probably be the only rookie there.
And you're hoping to raise £8,000 for the Rob Stevenson Trust. Now, Rob was one of your old uni friends?
So he was my older sister's university friend. They were all at Newcastle studying agriculture together. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, just before graduation, Rob was killed in an accident on a night out with friends, just before his 21st birthday. Rob was a really good sports player. He loved his rugby, loved his cricket. And so his brother set up the Rob Stevenson Trust in his memory to enable people to take part in sporting activities that they otherwise wouldn't be able to take part in. So they send people on sports tours if they can't afford to pay to go on the sports tour, or they'll send equipment to developing countries so that they can set up their own clubs. So it kind of encompasses all kinds of different things.
And we're just a few weeks away from the Burley Horse Trials, and the presenter who normally does all the coverage on that, when she can, when she fits in everything else that she's doing, is Claire Boulding, and she's joining you on this trek.
Yeah, no, that's right. So the first day of our challenge, the first few days of our challenge starts with an 80-kilometre hike across the Cairngorms National Park, and Claire Boulding is joining us for the first of those days to record her programme called Radio 4 Ramblings, which is really exciting, obviously. So that's something to look forward to.
And this all starts on the 12th of August. How long do you reckon it's going to take?
That's a bit of an unknown at the minute. We seem to think about 7 days, depending on how long the hiking takes us. We're having to hike a little bit further than we'd previously thought because the river levels are so low because no one's had any rain.
Yeah.
So...
Well, very best of luck with it. If people would like to get in touch and show their support, what's the best way of doing that?
So we've got a whole range of social media channels. We have our Instagram and our Facebook page, which are called #Solstice, or alternatively, we have a Just Giving page in the same name, or you can visit Rob's website, which is the Rob Stevenson Trust, and you can find out a bit more about the work that the charity does and about our challenge as well.
Pip Franks, thanks very much for joining us on Rutland Radio. Very best of luck with it, and we look forward to looking back on it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
So we're here on the big lawn, really, I guess you call it, at Burley House, where the film festival is going to begin hours from now. I'm here with Joe Tinker. This all started thanks to the amazing events of 2012.
It did, yeah. So in 2012 we held the Great Olympic Garden Party, and for the first time we put up a giant screen in the gardens, showed the Olympics, and then on 4 of the evenings we showed films when there wasn't really much happening in the Olympics first week. And those films were so well received locally that we thought, actually, this is something that we should roll on and keep doing. So from that year onwards, we have done a film festival every year. It has grown. It started off, I think, at 3 days. It's now up to 5 days. So we do Wednesday till Sunday, and we have a double bill during the day and a double bill every evening.
And it's very populist, based at, things that you'll recognise broadly.
Absolutely, yes. This is very much a chance to come along, see a film that you probably have seen before, but the good thing about that is that you can enjoy it. So you don't have to stare avidly at the screen in case you miss a word. You can enjoy it. The children can run around a little bit. You can have a drink in the evening and just enjoy watching it with friends and family.
And it goes all the way through from children's films to also with a nod to the end of World War One, the centenary.
Absolutely. We try and cover all bases, really. So during the day, we have those great classic Disney wonderfuls. We've got Beauty and the Beast this year. We've got Trolls for a bit of glitter and a bit of pink. We've got Cars 3 for those small boys who really can't be doing without their cars. And then in the evenings, Murder on the Orient Express. We've got Dunkirk. But we've also got the boys' films like Gladiator and 300 for a bit of blood and gore. And then some more fun ones like Top Gun and Cocktail as well.
I was going to say Tom Cruise actually has made an appearance before, hasn't he?
He has. We have shown him a few times, but he's always very popular, so we can't knock him, I have to say.
Now, we're here on the main kind of area where people will sit. The sun's beating down in the middle part of the day, but people can actually bring shade as long as they're respectful to others. That's
right, yeah. I mean, obviously it is very sunny and very hot this year. We are mindful of that. So what we say is that small children's sun shelters and small parasols are absolutely fine. We say no to gazebos, no to big tents, because really it just blocks other people's views.
And where do people get tickets? Just on your normal website?
Absolutely, they're available on the website. So they go offline about 5 o'clock the night before. So if you want to get in early, because that gives you a little bit of a discount. Alternatively, if you want to make your mind up on the day, they will be available on the gates as well. They open at 10:30 this morning, and then they'll be open again for this evening from 5:30.
And actually, I don't talk too much about the weather, but broadly, it actually looks very warm, very dry, and perfect conditions for sitting out enjoying the stately home.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't really ask for more. Last year we did have quite a lot of rain, and we had a lot of damp people who really sat it out. They brought all their kit, they sat there with their umbrellas, so people were very brave. But this year we're hoping we don't have to put up with that. We've got some wonderful weather planned. Here it is quite nice. We do get a bit of breeze, so it's not too bad. It's not like you're sweltering. And also there's plenty for the kids to do, so they don't have to sit in the sun all the time. We have a craft tent, we have a face painter, so come along, enjoy it, but don't feel you have to sit in the brilliant sunshine the whole time.
Jo Tinker, thanks very much for joining us here at the Burley Film Festival.
Thank you for your time.
Rutland Radio.
Wondered, yes, if you could give us a bit of background on this. Was it something that you personally, found? You got your water bottle and thought, well, where actually could I get some fresh tap water?
Yes. Well, I instigated Stamford Transition Town. You might have heard of that years ago. It's now been renamed Sustainable Stamford. And about 4 years ago, I would think it was, we tried to pick up on this initiative to reduce people's use of single-use bottles. And but plastic wasn't, it wasn't an issue then. People weren't aware of it. So really, it's been the Blue Planet, I think, that's made people suddenly aware of what we're doing to the planet. So again, I didn't involve the others because, they're doing other things. And so I went again to a few cafes in Stamford and just asked, sort of, would they fill up? And most of them said, oh, yes, of course. So I made the list. I took the list to the tourist information, and they were very pleased to have it. I then took it to the town hall, and they tried to pretty it up a bit, which they have done. And I've just got the copy yesterday for just a little leaflet that says, this is where you can refill. And then I discovered that there is an app that you can get if you have a clever phone, and particularly in cities. If you look up refill.org.uk, they've got lots of towns actually have what they call refill stations. And so at the moment I'm trying to get our list so that we can have a list in the app of Stamford refill stations.
So it's all to make sure that people don't throw away that single-use plastic bottle and refill it or have a water container themselves. And obviously in this hot weather, it couldn't be more topical at the moment.
Absolutely, yes.
And the cafes, obviously they're there to sell their wares. They were quite happy if you popped in, refilled, and
yes,
whether you bought anything or not.
Even if the customer, in inverted commas, or the visitor, didn't want at that point in time to get themselves a coffee or a cake or whatever, they would still be happy to fill up.
That's really quite kind of generous in this, what you might call materialistic world that we have now.
It is. Yes, it is.
So people will be able to pick up these guides from various places in town then, this leaflet that's just been produced?
At the moment, they're just on... They're on notice boards. I don't know whether people read notice boards anymore. Mm-hmm. But obviously coachloads of people of my generation tend not to carry water bottles and things and not to think about it. I mean, I'm over 80. Mm-hmm. But the younger generation, is quite happy to put these apps on their phone and that it is highlighted there. So... that's the overall plan. I haven't yet reported back to Sustainable Stamford what I've been doing. I better let them know.
I guess so, but, for what a great community initiative, really, and the community coming together to make sure people are hydrated in the hot weather, certainly.
Well, that, and also, as you say, reducing the landfill, plastic bottles, because even if we export them to Poland or wherever, we have no idea what happens to them, really. We haven't actually followed the trail. So.
Indeed, and cut down on the plastic, as you say. Well, thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio today. So if people broadly look on the notice boards in and around Stamford, they'll find out more. As you say, the town halls put the leaflet together as well.
I will say, it's most of the cafes. So, if they can't find a notice board to look on, they can at least try, the cafes, because most of them said, oh, yes, of course we would, no problem.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm here on official business, though.
Okay.
Do you want to just take a look at this here? We have this feature every week, and you've won this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's really scary.
No, well, it's all about, what you set up just over a year ago to unite all the theatre groups.
Oh, fantastic.
Talking about the money you've raised and the way you support all the local theatre groups through Friends of Stamford and Rutland Theatre, through the picnic, through, obviously, the floats. And, Alison Kirby in Tallington said you ought to be Hero of the Week, so...
Oh, I'm really touched. That's really surprising. Oh, well, we just love theatre and love doing everything and want to share it around everybody, really.
And I suppose it was, just seeing that there's so many groups all there, fighting, not necessarily for the same cause, but the same audience, and,
yes.
And wanted everyone just to kind of be promoted together.
And so many people in Stamford don't know about what's going on and don't get to see things and don't know there are free events that the town does, like the festival and the float parade, and it's got smaller because people don't know about it. So we're trying to say, yay, come on down and just come on a float. We had new people this year that had never been, let alone been on a float either. So it was really fab.
And you won for the second year as well.
We did. We ran the most entertaining because we had people that sang and danced and a bit of music that everybody knows, and everybody will just join in, and we could see people singing on the streets as we went past with the music, and that was really lovely. So it makes you smile, and I don't know what to say.
Well, I've known you for a while, and you've worked with me, you've directed me, you've choreographed me, you've supported me in so many ways, but I know that you have no spare moment. People think I rush around. I don't know how you fit it all in, but you're always involved in stuff, and quite often 2 or 3 different productions you're helping out on some way.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We're doing 3 or 4 at the moment. We've helped with Panto last week with Sleeping Beauty auditions, and Seaton are doing Spam a lot, so I'm doing some dancing there. And actually I've been asked to go and help somebody down in Kenilworth, actually, who does appear with their gang show this year. So I've got 70 children that I'm going to try and help bring a bit of Stamford dance magic down to them, which will be something a little bit different. It's because of doing jobs like this that's feeding boring bits of paper. My mind keeps going while I'm doing it.
Well, the thing is, your day job actually prints a lot of the programmes that actually accompany a lot of the shows.
We do indeed, yeah. We've just done all the Shakespeare for Stamford Shakespeare, so we put all them through this year, and the variety of shows that I'm in, and flyers and leaflets for them as well. So I usually have an abundance of flyers as people drive by and stuff, and being handy here in Stamford, people can call in, and we see lots of people, get to know lots of people that way, I think, as well. And I'm smiling, I don't know what to say.
But Hero of the Week, and I know you never did this to be recognised, did you?
Do you know, it all started because a few people kept asking me about the different groups I was in. When's Panto auditions, when's this, and we'd like to see that show. And we realised that everybody was missing stuff. So it really started just as a link group. And then people said, do you want to come and sing at this group? So I put out, anybody want to sing? And suddenly, so many groups have only 2 or 3 people. But together, we made a great big group. And I think there was about over 40 of us that did the World War concert for the British Legion in March. That was just about 20 different groups that all came together, and it was just so moving, and it's just building. As people say, can we do this? We've sort of gone, okay, yeah, let's do this then, and that's how the next thing's been organised. And
now, as well as the social media group, it's a monthly newsletter as well.
Yeah, we've started on our second one for August, which we're just working on at the moment, and the theatres have said, we'll put our adverts in and we'll do that. So at the moment it's just online. But who knows, in the future, in a few months, maybe we get a sponsor to help pay the cost of printing, and because it's all voluntary at the moment, we can perhaps distribute it around the homes. Because people do like to see and have it like printed what's going on, and if they don't know, they're not going to be able to go and see it. You know, whether it's the church with the, we do some of the church's big opera galas and stuff, and until they came here to print, I didn't even know they had opera galas at St Mary's Church, you know, so there's that genre as well as the Shakespeare and the musical and the comedy and the festival parades and the Lions Fun Day, and then there's the Castle Bytham event, and there's just so many little village fetes, and they've all got music, and then Baston in the Blitz we've just discovered this, all dressing up, and I mean I could go on, there's so much out there. So it's really just finding somewhere like your What's On guide that people can then post it on themselves to like support each other. So I don't know about Hero, I've just sort of been a middle person that's known everybody. So thank you very much. That's very exciting. Oh my goodness.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Neil Aiken, I'm the commanding officer of 1st Military Working Dog Regiment.
And actually to see the relationship between Melton and Rutland with the army, and the way that Rutland actually has become more of an army presence over the years. What a staggering amount of people were actually supporting you today.
It was absolutely brilliant. I was never worried, but it was great to see the amount of people lining both sides of the route and all around the dais. It was really good turnout, probably from both counties. Absolutely brilliant today.
And the military working dogs is going to continue it in Rutland, but the Defence Animal Centre has actually been here since the Second World War, so it's a long history actually in this area. Yes,
they've been. The presence here has been, as you say, long and distinguished, known by many in the county as Vet Camp, but more recently as Defence Animal Centre and the Defence Animal Training Regiment. A really important part of the history, with so many people who live and work in the area and are posted backwards and forwards between the two units. It's a really long history here.
Rutland Radio.
Corporal Rachel Mather.
And actually to be parading in Melton today, I suppose, is that quite unusual for the dog unit based in Rutland?
We've been back before to join with the DATR and parade through Melton. That was about 4 years ago, so it has happened before.
And the military working dogs very much firmly in Rutland, quite a long history now actually.
Yes, it has. So this is our home, really. It's the home of the Royal Army Veterinary Corps. We come here for our initial training, the dogs' initial training, and then we go out to the regiment. But now the regiment's in Rutland as well. We are all quite closely located.
And although these dogs have a very serious role to play, actually on a parade like this, they're very much the centre of attention, aren't they?
They are, definitely. Yeah. There were quite a few children as we were going past shouting, "Oh, I like that one, I like that one." So it's great to see people coming out to see them, and that they appreciate that the dogs do a job that is really needed by the armed forces as well.
And what kind of jobs, in summary, do they do?
So we have protection dogs who will be part of the force protection. And we have search dogs who can go out and find whatever we need them to find.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
I'm Colonel Neil Smith. I'm the Chief Veterinary Officer and Head of the Royal Army Veterinary Corps.
A very proud day today. I mean, beautifully baking hot sunny day. Not the ideal day, I guess, to get horses out and dogs out. But what a heritage this area's got.
It is, and what we're celebrating, obviously, the centenary of the Veterinary Corps getting the royal prefix, but we're also celebrating our strong relationships with Melton Mowbray.
It obviously is a very special year for the military with the RAF 100, but, actually seeing the Army's role in this area, it's becoming, I guess, more and more over the years.
Well, I mean, this has been the home of the Veterinary Corps since just after the Second World War, but now with the Dog Regiment based at North Luffenham, then this whole area, the whole Melton Rutland area, is very much the RAVC's home.
And the reception that you received today, I mean, there are people following the parade right the way through town, hordes of people.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. It was a little exciting at times, actually. But yeah, many people there, and lots of clapping, lots of cameras, lots of flashes going off, and so on. So it was all very exciting.
It must be difficult enough for yourself in uniform, but here you are on a horse. We've got many horses and dogs in the parade today. I mean, it's a very hot day for it.
Yes, but they'll go and get a cool down now. They'll be fine. We made sure they were well hydrated this morning.
Rutland Radio.
My name's Andy Pelling, and I'm just one of the committee members who are all volunteers on the Deeping Raft race.
So the Deeping Raft race, it's coming up soon. All of these handmade rafts floating down the River Welland. I bet it looks fabulous.
It does. I say it's amazing how inventive some people are with their designs. We have a different theme each year, and people design their rafts based around that theme. And as I say, we have some great designs sort of over the years I've been involved. Things like we've had a Thunderbird 2 replica, and we had Trotters Independent Traders Reliant van. Some of the crew often dress up in fancy dress as well to suit the theme. So it is quite a colourful and wacky, spectacular event, really.
It's like wacky races, but in real life on a river.
That's right, yeah. We did even have Penelope Pit Stop one year. So.
Oh, wow. What's the theme this year?
The theme this year is Heroes and Villains. So we hope that gives plenty of scope. That can be historical, or we suspect some of the younger ones may go with modern superheroes and such like. But yeah, Heroes and Villains, anything goes, really.
So how long does it usually take people to build their rafts? Is it an all-year-round sort of job?
Some people kind of recycle them, so they'll have a basic raft structure, and then they'll update it to suit the theme for this particular year and keep the same structure for maybe 2, 3, 4 years or so. A lot of others build a brand new raft each time. There's a lot of people that are first time entrants at it, and I think some people cobble together something in an hour, and sometimes they fall apart halfway up the river, which is quite amusing for spectators. Other people obviously spend, weeks probably putting together something that's quite amazing. And I think there's probably 2 categories of that as well. One is the rafts that look absolutely brilliant and are really in touch with the theme, and then there's the others that are designed to be fast, so they're likely to win. And occasionally you'll get one that maybe does both.
So it's coming up in August, and you're looking for volunteers, aren't you?
It's quite a big event, and it's spread over quite a big area. It's on Sunday the 5th of August, and we do have quite a few volunteers as marshals just to help. We have to close some of the roads. So where the roads are closed, we have people standing there giving advice to anybody who comes up in a car to direct them where the alternative routes are. So we are looking for marshals to help out with that. We've got most of what we need, but 2 or 3 more would actually be very helpful. We ask them to do 2-hour slots, and then we give them a voucher for sort of food and drink as well. The best thing is probably just to go to our website. The contact details are on there, but they can also find out everything else about it, including how to enter a raft, timings, all the races and various things like that, which is, basically, if you just go into a search engine and put Deeping's Raft Race in, we come up top of the list.
Will you be racing this year?
No, I'm going to be commentating at the start line.
But you're going to be in fancy dress, though?
I have been for the last 5 years. I haven't quite decided this year, but hopefully, yes.
You can be super commentator. You can make up your own superhero.
Yes, I'll try.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Thank you, David. If you happen to be passing Borderville Sports Centre today and your car needs a bit of TLC, then you may as well come in, because you've got NCS here and they're doing a charity car wash. So I've got Kerry, Tara and Tegan. How can we do a car wash today? Because it's boiling.
We just thought it would be a good idea to raise money for charity, for Mine Charity actually, just to give back and just to help everyone out, really.
Was there a particular reason why you chose Mine Charity?
I think it's because everyone has a personal experience in our group with mental health, and I feel like all people have had experience with it, even if it's not like personally.
And Tegan, it is boiling out there today. You've chosen a day to do it, and it's 31 degrees Celsius. So credit to you for to you all for coming out here and washing cars in the sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to change our community's view on us teenagers, that we're not all teenagers that smoke and do drugs and drink alcohol. That we actually do care about our community, and obviously for the charity Mind is to raise awareness for mental health.
Well, you're working in the summer holidays, so you could be just lazing around, but you're not. You're all out here and working hard. And what time's it on till today?
It's from 10 till 4, free tea and coffee, and it's £4.50 for a car. Every car, actually.
Rutland Radio.
Now, 2 local Stamford students, Lauren Durose and also Amy Evans, are currently prepping for their National Citizen Service, and they're going to be taking on their challenge next Tuesday.
Yes, so next Tuesday on the 31st of July, we're doing an 18-mile walk. It's about 30 kilometres around Rutland Water in aid of Layla's legs.
We don't know Layla personally, but we read her story in the Mercury and it really touched our hearts. She's a 5-year-old girl with cerebral palsy, and we hope to help her raise the money so that she can have treatment to help her walk.
And it's really lovely that you're doing something in your spare time. It's the summer holidays as well. Like, you're both 16, or you're nearly 16. You could just chill out this holiday, but you've chose not to. You chose to do a challenge and raise money.
Yeah, and it's especially rewarding because about halfway through the walk, Layla's actually going to come out herself, and she's going to try and do a little bit of walking, but obviously it's going to be quite hard for her, so she's going to do the rest of it, well, not the rest of it, but quite a bit of it in her wheelchair, which will be really special for us. It will really show us what we're doing it for.
We're going to Rutland Water next week, and we're hoping to start at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and be finished sort of early evening, maybe 8, 7. We'll see how it goes.
And if people want to donate to you, where can they donate?
We have a GoFundMe page. I think it's under NCS Walk for Layla's Legs.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
So, Dean Friedman, welcome to Stamford and Rutland. Have you ever been here before?
I've not, and I'm really looking forward to coming this weekend for the first time.
Well, I can tell you it's very country-esque around here, very much in the countryside. So if you love the country, I'm sure you're going to love Stamford and Rutland.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
So you're well into your well said the rocking chair tour at the moment. So how's it been so far?
It's been great fun. It's a little daunting at first, but it's been a great opportunity to revisit the music from that album and time in my life when I recorded it, and the folks I met starting out. The daunting part was relearning some songs that I hadn't played in many years, but it's gone really well. The audience has been great, and so I've been playing songs from throughout my career, plus I've been doing the whole album, Well Said the Rocking Chair, start to end, song by song, and been great fun. And I'll be doing that at Songfest at the Barnsdale Hall Hotel Saturday night.
So it's going to be like putting on the CD, but hearing it live, hearing the full album live at your show.
Yes, it's going to be sort of an unplugged version of Well Said the Rocking Chair, because it's going to be me on guitar and piano, one at a time, jumping back and forth between guitar and piano, singing all those songs. But then I'll also play music from throughout my 4-decade career, I guess. And it's not just me. This is my first a micro music festival. It's not even a mini festival. It's a micro festival because it's myself and 2 other terrific songwriters from the UK. One is the amazing Boothby Graffo, who is brilliant comedian and superb singer-songwriter. And also the awesome Tracy Curtis. She's a singer-songwriter from Wales.
So it's going to be quite an experience and something really special for you because you're celebrating 40 years in the industry.
Well, yeah, it took me by surprise, I got to say. But like I say, it's been fun kind of revisiting that music and that album and the time that I first was, being launched into the music world, and especially on this side of the pond. Mm-hmm. It's funny, when I delivered Well Said the Rocking Chair to my record company, they were very disappointed. They were unhappy with me, and they They accuse me of being a spoiled recording artist and not listening to anybody. But fortunately, a week after that disastrous meeting, we got a telex from England, which will give you an idea how long ago it was. It wasn't even a fact. Telex, saying that the album and the single had entered the charts and was zooming up the charts. And so thanks to you folks over here, I've been coming once a year ever since.
Wonderful.
Sharing my songs and touring all over the countryside.
Yeah, you're gonna be sharing your songwriting tips as well, because you've got a masterclass this weekend.
That's true. Well, Songfest is Saturday the 28th, this coming Saturday from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Barnsdale Hall Hotel. And then the next day, I'm conducting a small songwriting masterclass, something I've been doing for years all over the world. I've written a book called The Songwriter's Handbook. It's my personal take on the art and the craft of songwriting. And it uses examples from my own music and other writers as well.
Have you got any tips that you'd like to share now? Just one of your tips about songwriting?
Sure. I guess one of the first things that I talk about is to try and figure out what your song is about as soon as possible. Sometimes songs will just write themselves, and that's great. You make sure you record it or keep notes so that you don't forget it the next day. But more often than not, the craft of songwriting comes into play, which is that you have to make choices and decisions about what to do next. Once you know what a song is about, well, then you can take some strategic steps to reach that goal. It's like if you're going on a journey, but you're not sure exactly where, you can wander forever. But if you have a destination in mind, well, that sort of helps.
Wonderful. Now, I've got to ask, because my name is Lydia, and you have a song called Lydia.
I know. Lydia, how come you understand?
And it's not very often that the name Lydia is in songs, or, when you go on holiday and you see toys with people's names on, you could never find a Lydia. So I was just wondering whether you'd be able to sing a little bit for me a cappella.
Well, you know what? Normally I wouldn't, but because you're so lovely and you have such a lovely name as Lydia, I'll be pleased to, which is, Lydia keeps my toothbrush in her apartment and she never complains, will hardly ever. And then jokingly she says, boy, it's been so long since I've held you, I nearly gave you up for dead, I nearly gave you up for dead, I nearly gave you up for dead. Lydia, Lydia, how come you understand? I can offer you nothing at all, this is more than I had planned. Lydia, Lydia, I am at your command, at least until morning comes, and I must be off again.
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Lydia. Lydia on Rutland Radio, folks, and I hope you'll join us at Songfest.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk.